In 2018, CBS stated that most of the lower-ranking schools in Maryland were in Baltimore City. In 2019, CBS stated Baltimore was the fourth most dangerous city in the United States due to its crime and poverty rate. Have you ever wondered if there was a difference in life expectancy between Baltimore City and Baltimore County due to these problems? My name is Hannah Wright.
And my name is Kevin Lai. Today we'll be answering that question by examining graveyards in the Baltimore City and County area.
We hypothesized that due to issues relating to poverty, the life expectancy of people who live in Baltimore City is lower than people who live in Baltimore County. If the survivorship percentage is lower in Baltimore City than Baltimore County, and there is a significant difference, which means the p-value would be less than 5%, then the hypothesis is supported. If the survivorship percentage is not lower in Baltimore City than Baltimore County, and/or there is not a significant difference, then we have failed to reject the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis being that there is not a significant difference between the two populations.
The reason why the hypothesis was chosen was because Baltimore City faces many interlinked socio-economic problems that can result in a difference in lifespan from Baltimore County. As an article from the Baltimore Sun states, quote, "As is true throughout the country, the city's most insidious issues can likely be linked back to poverty," unquote, and it can turn into a vicious cycle with each subsequent generation. With poverty, there's a lack of public funding for schools. Without public funding, schools are inadequate at educating children. With a lack of adequate education, individuals who attend the school cannot get jobs to get out of poverty, leading to economic inequality and non-accessible healthcare. In this type of environment, it will impact longevity, as according to CBS in 2017, a city resident's average lifespan is 74, while in the county, according to the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation in 2016, it is 77.1 for men and 81.7 for women. To further demonstrate the difference, this is the Maryland poverty profile from 2018 for both Baltimore City and County. The percentage of people living below the poverty line in the county is 9.3%, whereas the city is 23.1%, a 43% increase just by entering urban Baltimore. Other things to note include a difference in median income of over $20,000, with city residents earning $44,262, while county residents earn $68,989. And overall poverty, children poverty, and senior poverty rates. Rankings for the city, which is the top 5 for all 3 categories, at second, and first place, respectively, whereas the county sits at 14th, 14th, and 10th place, respectively.
Ten graveyards were chosen by a random generator for this study, 5 in Baltimore County and 5 in Baltimore City. 40 gravestones were examined per graveyard, 20 gravestones from people who died between 1900 to 1960, and 20 gravestones from people who died between 1961 to the present. The birth year and death year were recorded, and from that we calculated the age at the time of death. Overall, 400 gravestones were inspected. The data from Baltimore County and Baltimore City were placed in 2 Excel sheets before being combined into a graph for comparison.
This graph represents the information gathered from the 200 gravestones that were chosen from Baltimore County. The data has been normalized to 1,000. In this graph, there is a gradual decrease of people surviving up until the age of 60 to 65. After that age group, there is a steeper slope until the age of 90 to 95. This sample only had elderly people who lived up to 90 to 95, which is why the 96 to 101 age group is 0. This graph portrays the log of survivorship percentage of Baltimore County to show a linear relationship. The viewer can see that there is a gradual decrease up until the age group of 78 to 83. The slope becomes much steeper until the age group of 90 to 95. Again, in this sample, the elderly individuals lived up to 90 to 95, therefore the 96 to 101 age group is 0.
This is the survivorship graph of the 200 gravestones from the Baltimore City burial sites. Like Baltimore County, the data has been normalized to 1,000, and it shows a similar gradual decrease in survivorship from ages 0 to 65, before a rapid decrease to 0 survivors from 65 to 108. This sample has centennials, individuals who lived up to 100 years of age, which is why the graph ends at 108. This is the log of the survivorship graph from the previous page meant to linearize the graph. As the viewer can see, there's a gradual decrease in survivorship from ages 0 to 77, where there's a rapid decrease to 0 survivors at 108. Once again, this sample has centennials, individuals who lived up to 100 years of age, which is why the graph ends at 108.
The results show that the survivorship curves for Baltimore City and Baltimore County have very similar patterns, where there is a gradual decrease of people surviving before a rapid decrease to 0. While Baltimore County had individuals who lived up to 90 to 95, Baltimore City had individuals who lived up to 102 to 108.
In the combined log of survivorship graph, there's a similar trend between Baltimore City and County again, where there's a gradual decrease in survivorship before a rapid decrease to 0 survivors. The p-value was also taken at this time, where the difference between the two data samples was 0.9541427, which is greater than the alpha level at 0.05, meaning that the results could be obtained by chance and are not significant. With the similar patterns in the survivorship curves and log survivorship curves, and the p-value not being significant enough, the results fail to reject the null hypothesis. The data signifies that there is no difference between the survivorship of Baltimore City and Baltimore County, so there needs to be an investigation into why by examining the assumptions. One is that immigration or immigration was excluded from the experiment entirely. Not everyone who dies in the city and county is buried in these locales. Another assumption is excluding cremation or other forms of burial. Traditional burials are expensive and may not take into account the burial practices of different cultures.
A future experiment could be comparing survivorship curves from communities within Baltimore City. Baltimore City has many districts that are affected differently by the interlinked problems we discussed before. It would be interesting to see how drastic the difference is between different neighborhoods in the city. Another future experiment would involve redesigning the procedure to account for different forms of burial, such as cremation, and to compare different eras.
Here are some references if you are curious about the differences between Baltimore County and Baltimore City. Thank you for watching our presentation.